Okay. Hi, everyone. Very good afternoon. Welcome to our monthly Assurance Talks. And I think this one is as special as the festival season that we are living through. We have the honor of having with us Dr. Murthy Gokula, who's visiting us from USA, and he's here in flesh and blood with us. And let me introduce him. And a very interesting and very relevant topic we have brought for all of you today, for all our audience. And Dr. Murthy Gokula, of course, he did his medicine from India, but he went to US, and he's a board certified in Family Medicine and Geriatrics. And I know whatever I speak, it will still be less to do justice to his prolific profile. He's award-winning speaker. He's a prolific author. He's a geriatric pioneer, and also very special that he's a part of the Nano Health family. So, please join me in welcoming Dr. Murthy, and I hand it over to him to talk about lifestyle medicine and deprescription. So over to you, Dr. Murthy.
Thank you, Rahul. I have to add that I'm board certified in lifestyle medicine and soon to be in anti-aging and regenerative medicine. So that's all put together for what we call giving health care. And I'm going to share my slides, right? Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining. And I want to thank the leadership team of Nano Health, Manish Ranjan and Dr. Rahul. And it's great to meet young doctors today at the office and see the enthusiasm with Nano Health, and kind of makes it even better for me to give this wonderful talk as you're all celebrating the joy over the 9 days of the woman power. And you definitely have to translate that into the kitchen, how they actually can create lives for us and make your life healthy. And so it's very important you understand the significance of lifestyle medicine, and where it all starts is the kitchen, the diet. So women have a very important role, and I'm so happy. And let's give a praise today and enjoy their role and the significance of women in our lives. And moving that, how does that help with lifestyle and deprescription? So today I'm going to kind of help you guys understand how you can actually stop medication when you make lifestyle changes. They happen in parallel. As soon as there are 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, which is diet or nutrition, exercise, stress management, sleep, addictions, and social relationships. These 6 pillars, as you keep moving towards the positive side in making those necessary changes, your needle will be going towards the size of reducing medications. And we're going to see how it's so important that making these changes is important, how it will improve your health. And so once your health outcomes change, then your medications kind of have to be reduced. So it's an art of medicine. I'm sure you all have encountered so many people who are trying to do reversing diabetes. You have dietitians doing it. You have nutrition health coaches doing it. But what we emphasize is we are all board certified in lifestyle medicine, and we teach patients how to implement those changes in their daily lives and strategies to overcome. And you all know that when you have more medications, you have increased health problems. And when I was teaching geriatrics at the university, I used to say and teach the students that if you make all your symptoms as one of the differential diagnosis, which means that symptom could be because of medications. And when we stop the medications, their symptoms go away. I'll give you a very good example that just happened to me a few days ago. Everybody is on this bandwagon of weight loss with Ozempic. And 2 of my patients were on Ozempic, and one person came with blisters. His hand looked like he got burnt. So with my usual hat, I went in to see what his medications were. And I checked for the side effects of the medications. And Ozempic actually causes bullous pemphigoid. I did a biopsy, and the biopsy confirmed bullous pemphigoid. So even Tylenol can have its problems, which is the Dolo in India, or ibuprofen. So all these medications do have problems. So it's important that you take them only when you need them. And you're seeing that more and more people are moving towards higher incomes, and that's causing them to kind of increase the chronic burden because chronic diseases are increasing. And 80% of chronic diseases are because of lifestyle issues. And why do we need? Because the less medications you have better life. And this morning, Nano Health helped me to do some labs. And the guy came and checked my blood pressure, and I had like 110/70. And the guy said at 56, I never saw anybody having blood pressure of those numbers. So it's very important, because this all ties, because we're not doing the lifestyle modifications that we're supposed to. We're leading very unhealthy lives. And for example, here you can see the past, everybody used to eat predominantly a plant-based diet. They all worked in the fields. They were active in the fields. They biked. They played outside. And now what's happening? Your kids from the child, as soon as they're born, people are not doing breastfeeding, and they're giving processed milk. And they sit down, we call them potato couches. And this is one I love the most, wherein you can see the guy in the car and walking his dog. So things have changed, and all the kids nowadays, they sit on the iPhone or whichever phone and start playing games. And these have caused a lot of our problems. If you see how you can actually cause death rate increase, is because of these 4 things, 4 domains I can call, or variables you can call. If you see how your mortality increases, high social stress is a problem. Then smoking greater than 15 cigarettes a day. And just let me give you, there was a study that was done comparing 5 to 6 hours of sitting in a chair, which is mostly happening. It's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So just doing nothing is also a problem. And alcohol greater than 6 drinks. It's alarming that how much of alcohol is being served every day in Hyderabad and in Andhra and Telangana, and the kind of revenue that it generates. But alcohol is very inflammatory to the body, and physical inactivity. These are the reasons why people are actually getting blood pressure and diabetes, high cholesterol. And I'll tell you what happens usually. So this is the US statistics, and it has not changed, I think, in India. Also, every 5th diabetic on this earth is an Indian, and that's all lifestyle related. And type 2 diabetes, you can completely reverse. And if you look at the diet, in US, it's low in fruits, low in nuts and seeds, and high in sodium, high in processed meats, low in vegetables, and high trans fats. So everybody is running. And yesterday, I was making a point, even in the Nano Health office, that about processed food, reading the labels. Most of these processed foods have high trans fats and high salt. So if you eat more of those processed foods, then your sodium content goes up, then you get elevated blood pressure. Because it's got fats, your cholesterol goes up. So cholesterol, then salt causes blood pressure, then more calories you keep eating and not spending them leads to insulin resistance, diabetes. And then as things keep going, then what happens? Then you get a heart attack. You get thyroid problems because inflammation causes problems with thyroid. And I'm sure if you just look around in your own family, everybody will have either high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, or and then the other thing that people don't in India don't mention is your oral health. Oral health causes a lot of inflammation to the body, and it's a direct reason why people get heart attacks too. So it's important in the prevention. You got to kind of take care of your brush twice daily, floss every day, twice daily. And these are very, very critical. And get your teeth cleaned with a dentist. And I'm sure the dentists know well, right, how important oral health is. And you can see that the habits cause elevated blood pressure. You can see that our illiteracy rate is so high, leading to child and maternal malnutrition. But again, even in US, that's a problem. Smoke, air pollution, high body mass index, alcohol, plasma, glucose. Yesterday, Dr. Rahul was sharing some of the data that he did a screening program with one of their clients. And it's amazing to see how many people their fasting blood sugar was between 100 to 125. We call that impaired fasting glucose. It was almost a third of them, 33% out of 100 people had impaired fasting glucose. And once you have that risk, your risk of 5 years having diabetes is very, very high. And it takes about 10 years to get diabetes. So when you have impaired fasting glucose, if you're at 100, it takes a longer time. But again, it depends on how quickly you're running or putting more calories. So unsafe water and sanitation also has a problem here. So the point is, this is all very simple math. And if you change, I'll tell you at the end, how do I make the important changes? Keep it simple. I like the KISS principle. Keep it simple and stupid. Okay. So I'll do that for you guys to kind of make it easy on you guys. So you all know that everybody is having either some heart stent or heart attack, cause about 5.8 million deaths per year in you. And it's all related to nutrition and lifestyle. And the point is, as a doctor, I did not know all this information until 3 years ago. When I went to a continuous medical education course, like that's when my light bulbs went off and I started making lifestyle changes. And if as a doctor, I don't know, how will normal patients know? So that's why I made this my life mission to educate people. And thank you, Nano Health, for giving this opportunity to reach out to another 100 Asian Indians. 80% of chronic diseases are lifestyle related. I said that. So what's deprescription? Deprescription is nothing but a supervised way of a doctor helping you to reduce medication. So I'll give you my mother as an example. She had diabetes because she loves pickles and she's a very good cook. She's from the Andhra region and she developed high blood pressure and swelling of the legs. I said, cut down your pickles, which is very difficult for her. But I said, start eating half of it. So she was on blood pressure pill, lisinopril and hydrochlorothiazide because of the edema. I put her on a diuretic. And then once she started cutting down, after 3 months, she started feeling dizzy. So then I cut the tablet to half. And now her blood pressure with half medication, because I cannot have her completely reduce the salt, but she's now managing with half pill. So this is how you supervised. And if she's strictly taking salt out, and there are several ways, like instead of using salt, you can use like tamarind leaves. You can use chukakura. I don't know what you say that in English, but that's a little sour. You can put lemon and lime and make it sour, or amla. All these things you can add. Tamarind you can add and make it flavorful. Use herbs to make it flavorful, because all these things have salt in them. We think that we have to add salt into everything. That's wrong. All these vegetables, they all have sodium chloride too. Wow. So let them give you the salt, because that's one simple thing. If you can make, don't add salt and cook it, add herb spices. And then when you're eating, if you feel you need it, add some salt and use the Himalayan black salt or rock salt or the pink salt, So that's how we can actually reduce medications. Polypharmacy is the term that we use for more medications. Anything more than 5 medications you're taking, you're at polypharmacy risk. What does that do? All the drugs have to be cleared out by the liver or the kidney, and all these things. You can imagine if there are 100 people trying to get out of one gate, if the gate is not wide enough, everybody is trying to go at the same time, it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, then you have problems, side effects of medications accumulating in the body, their levels go up and you get. So there are several protocols, and I can share several things how you can, but I'll give you live examples of how I stop medications. And it's very important that as people are making lifestyle changes. So I had a CEO of a tech company. This is 2 years ago, exactly in December 2000. And I was coming to India and he had psoriasis. And he said, I'm really suffering. I went to Mayo Clinic and what do I do? I said, these are the 6 things which I'll tell you guys to stop. And I gave him an anti-inflammatory diet. By the time I went back to US, his psoriasis was gone. Wow. I didn't do anything. I didn't even see the patient. I didn't even touch him. It was just a Zoom. And then stopping the 6 things will do dramatic things. And if you don't believe in what I'm saying, just try it on yourself for 3 months. Just get rid of these 6 things in your life slowly. And even if you go, and that's what lifestyle medicine is. That's the definition, that it's a medical specialty. It's coming up. And I'm proud to say that we have Indian Society of Lifestyle Medicine. And thanks Manish and Rahul for sponsoring the event there at the conference that's coming up on November 4th and 5th, and joining efforts to kind of impact and do good work. But I'm board certified in lifestyle medicine, and Indian Society of Lifestyle Medicine, you can take a test if there is any doctors here, if there is nutritionist, if you're a PhD, if you're a dentist, it doesn't matter. You all can become lifestyle medicine board certified. It doesn't have to be an MD. Even anybody who has a medical degree can take lifestyle medicine boards. And we apply evidence. There is research, I'll show you. And we look at the whole person and we give prescriptions. Like you go to a doctor, you say you have diabetes, they'll give you a prescription. I give lifestyle medicine prescriptions in all these 6 pillars. And what are the key points is, that unhealthy behaviors, it's the behavior. Once you change your behavior, a lot of lifestyle medicine, it's how you look at it. And yesterday I had lunch with Rahul and Manish, and we were talking about it. And they say it's okay for once, it's okay. And I also got sucked into that. But the point is, I was aware of my problem, the mistakes I was doing in trying to choose the right kind of food. And this behavior, if it keeps persisting, becomes a habit. And habits are hard to kill. So, but now, because I learned all this information and I'm implementing that, you kind of slowly do it, but I'm more aware of it. Earlier, I was not aware of it. And I was offered tea, but I chose coffee today because no calories. But the tea in Hyderabad comes with milk, which has saturated fat in there and comes with tons of sugar. And yesterday we got it from one of the best place. It tasted like milk powder, which means that it's processed. All these things increase inflammation in your body. So I'm aware of this, but what do I do? If I want to drink, I drink small amounts. It's not like you have to kill yourself and change everything and give up everything. What it is you become aware of it. It's like, fire causes your fingers to burn if you put your hand in there, right? So why don't you put in there? Because the immediate effect, it burns. But diet, it burns slowly. It's a slow poison, it takes time. And then one day it shows up as a disease. So now Why did I change? And the beauty of it is in 3 months, you can change and you'll be a different person. People kind of give me all kinds of statements that I look younger than 2 years ago. My face looks glow. There's a glow. I don't know what that all means to me, but all I'm doing is practice the 6 pillars almost to 95%. And you start small, and I want people to know that there is a certification, but the American College of Lifestyle Medicine does the exam even for the Indian Society of Lifestyle Medicine. And so I kind of created a diet song, standard American diet. I should make that as standard Indian diet. So if I have to take our southern diet, everybody wakes up with idli, vada, dosa, right? And it's full of oil, and then masala dosa, oil. So 1 spoon of oil has approximately 140 calories. If you want to burn 100 calories, you have to run 1.5 kilometers. I'm sure there's only a few in this audience who are doing that. So what happens when you keep putting money in the bank? It increases balance. Balance grows. Same thing with your body. You get fat around your belly, fat around your neck, and then you get black. That's all insulin resistance. So SAD diet or SID diet, MAD diet or MID diet, modern American diet or modern Indian diet is everybody is busy. They're going to curry points or they're going out to eat because it's become a fashion now. And you can't ask the guy to make a healthy diet for you. He's going to put oil to make it tasty. And he's going to use a lot of salt. He's going to fry a lot of things. And why does it matter when you eat a lot of fried food? Because the oil that he's using also, and all these cause oxidized free radicals. And then the meat that they serve you, if they grill, it forms what is called activated glycated end products when you get digest, and then that causes cancer. And meat, when it gets digested, it releases another chemical called TMAO, trimethylamine oxide. And what does TMAO do? Takes the cholesterol in your diet and puts it in the blood vessel after it's used up. So that's the reason you get more heart attacks in people who eat lots of meat, more cancers. And I call that crap, calorie-rich and processed foods. So yesterday, Rahul was showing, it all looks good, it's baked. But when you looked at the labels, there was saturated fat in there, there was sugar in there, all these. And then when you process anything, it doesn't matter, like brown rice is whole food. But when you get white rice, you got to process that. You lose fiber, you lose B12. And then because they use chemicals, it creates inflammation. So that's the reason calorie-rich and processed food. So I say, I wake up sad, by midday I'm mad, and by evening I'm crap. Because, I'm in a rush in the morning, I pick up something quickly, like a donut or coffee, and by midday, I get a sandwich. And by evening, because I'm tired, then I pick up something on the way, and it's all calorie-rich and processed. So please don't get into that. So if you see what are the things that give you health? One, your income, social status determines how your health is. Employment and working conditions also determine. Educational literacy determine. Childhood experiences determine. Physical environment determines. But if you look at the other things, social support, coping skills, healthy behaviors, genetic expression, culture, medical care, can you believe all these things are related to lifestyle medicine? The 6 pillars, as I said, social support, stress management, healthy behaviors, nutrition, genetic expression, that changes with your exercise, with your nutrition. Culture determines, like you see the Mediterranean diet is always winning. That's because the culture. In India, thousands of years ago, we actually were on the top of the world in practicing lifestyle medicine every day. And when I was listening to the lectures in Harvard, I was remembering my grandmother always telling me, chew your food properly because your food digests in the mouth. We call that salivary ptyalin. If you eat quickly because you're in a hurry, those juices are not there. And what you miss, the food was already in the stomach. The stomach says, hey, you didn't come prepared. Well, you all know when you come home unprepared, how your life is. Then the stomach needs to figure out how to digest all this, has to work hard. And then you get acid reflux. I'm sure you guys have experienced that. When you eat fast, you get acid reflux. And that's the reason. And then if you eat a lot of meat, it's protein. There's a valve, it's called lower esophageal sphincter. That is relaxed with a kind of food. And then you get acid reflux. So the point is, all these simple things, you can chew your food well 20 times. And then when it goes into the stomach, like eat, wake up on sunrise, sleep by sunset, finish your food like 6 o'clock, but Indians never eat before 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And your digestion, there is two things, how digestion happens in the human body. We call the sympathetic, the parasympathetic. In the morning time, the sympathetic is high in the body. In the evening time, parasympathetic is high in the body. So as the sun sets, the body starts turning into the parasympathetic mode. And then if you're eating, then what happens is digestion is a sympathetic process. It's fire. It has to use a lot of energy. So then it starts dumping all the acid juices, we call them, and then try to digest, and then it becomes difficult. And then you don't spend it because you're sleeping. And then all those convert into calories. So doing simple things by eating before 6 p.m. and not eating, eating between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then the rest of the time fasting, intermittent fasting. I'm sure everybody knows in India what fasting does to your body, right? Because that's how they put it in Karwa Chauth, you got to fast. This thing you have to fast. So they put it like, so Indians were masters at lifestyle medicine. So here's the 6 things: diet, physical activity, stress, sleep, smoking and alcohol, social relationships. So you can see that type 2 diabetes can be reversed. There have been studies done in India, and stand by a diadem are some of the things that are happening, direct study. So there is research, there is science, there is evidence. You don't need to trust anybody, trust yourself and do it. And then just talk to your doctor when you're doing all this lifestyle modification so that you can stop your medications. So here's what happens in chronic disease. This is the model that's been proven over and over and over. When you have an unhealthy diet, which is high calorie processed foods or sedentary lifestyle, high stress, a lot of medications, poor sleep, addictions, social isolation, then your stomach, we call that microbiome, which is actually the one that runs a lot of the show, changes. And that influences the genes. I'll give you a good example. I do heartfulness meditation for the last 28 years. And there's been research done in New York. With meditation, your genes, the end of the genes, we call that telomeres. The longer the telomeres, the longer you live. So meditation has shown to improve the telomere length. So and what did Indians do to get moksha? They all meditated, right? So it has an effect on the gene. So people who meditated, like you hear in the mythological stories that they are 1,000 years, because they fasted and meditated. I don't know the truth behind that statement, but definitely these people lived longer because they were fasting and I'm not saying that all of you have to do that, but you can start moving in that direction of trying to change the lifestyle. And as I said, when you eat meats, eat a lot of fried food, it kind of causes cellular stress and injury. All these things cause inflammation and leads to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, depression, and other chronic problems like rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid disease. You can reverse rheumatoid arthritis too. You can reverse autoimmune conditions, thyroid too. So the point is, people have got so used to putting off the fires, like, oh, I got thyroid problem, now I have to take pill for the rest of my life. But they don't get taught how to reverse it. Oh, I have diabetes, now I have to take pills. But I would like for you to understand insulin resistance. So I was saying that if you reduce the inflammation and the insulin resistance in the human body, then you can fix a lot of problems. But where does it all start? It starts with diet. You take more calories than you need. So let's say you need 1400 or 1600 calories to live for the day, but you're dumping 3200 calories. The body uses up 1600 and the rest 1600 goes, something has to be done because it's already there. So it increases, the liver tries to kind of metabolize that extra calories and the increased liver fat, and the triglycerides go up. So in US, I do regenerative medicine. So I do what is called platelet-rich plasma. So I take their blood and I spin it, and the plasma on the top is cloudy. And I ask them, did you just have your lunch? Yeah, I ate tacos and Mexican food with a lot of oil, and it's no different Indian diet nowadays. And that goes up, and then somebody has to manage this high fat. So the pancreas, all this fat goes to the pancreas because then pancreas has to help. But pancreas gets tired. You keep flogging the horse all the time, it gets tired and it doesn't respond so well. And the insulin is not given out. And that causes sugar go up. And you all have seen, based on the type of food you eat, your sugar goes up after the diet. And then the liver kind of says, you know what, I'm not able to handle this sugar. And that's how the sugar goes up and the insulin goes up. And that's what's metabolic. As soon as the insulin goes up, it has effect on another hormone called cortisol. And that's why you see people who are obese and who have insulin resistance around the necks, it becomes a little dark. And that's called acanthosis nigricans. You know, it's a medical term, but people, when they start seeing this, you better know. So how do you do this? You can change your lifestyle. Even today, if you do change, in 3 months, you'll see positive changes. And if you continue for the rest of your life, you won't need pills at all. Our ancestors, they never lived on pills. It's only the last 40, 50 years, pills have come to existence. They just lived on fruits, vegetables, and Ayurvedic, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and they balance that. And that's nothing but lifestyle. So Indians had knew Ayurveda long before anybody could even dream. So I would like for you guys to understand, and if you want science in my world, the allopathic world, let's say you have high cholesterol. We have a diet that has been extensively studied called portfolio diet. But what happens when you have high cholesterol? You get a Lipitor or simvastatin, which is both diet and pills, they do the same job. So I prescribe portfolio diet. High blood pressure, I ask people to drink 4 to 5 cups of hibiscus tea. That does the same job as captopril 25 milligrams daily. In dementia, when you have memory loss, lifestyle, you can Google this pointer study, but we prescribe Aricept Nemenda and they do marginal benefit. But the point is, nowadays, we have more and more evidence coming out in lifestyle medicine. But one thing that Indians knew the best is body, natural healing. Heal thyself. If you want to be healthy, you got to heal yourself. And who makes that change? You. You are the one I'll give you a good example here. Patient A has 45 years. He has high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. His father had a heart problem. And because he had a heart attack at 45, then he wanted to control his blood pressure. So he ended up on all these medications. So what happens? I'll tell you. In this patient, this guy never worked hard for his exercise, ate a lot of food, they had very terrible sleeping patterns, had a lot of good drinks because that's what is the norm. You know, you're like an outlier if you say, I don't drink alcohol these days, you know. So I'm sure he did all those things. So first, where did he start? I'm sure because he ate a lot of crap, salty food, he should have developed high blood pressure or high cholesterol. It depends. So once high cholesterol comes, he would have got a medication for that. Then he continues his lifestyle, then his blood pressure goes up. Then he develops insulin resistance, then gets diabetes, put put on metformin glucophage. And because his father had heart disease, his doctor says put them on aspirin. All this, you can completely get rid of all these medication. But now he complains of muscle aches, fatigue, and easily tired. So if you look at his medications, metformin, the tiredness, fatigue could be just because his sugar is low. And if you see these medications like hydrochlorothiazide can actually increase your blood sugar, increase your uric acid, and can dehydrate you, and can cause falls and broken bones. Atorvastatin cause muscle aches because it depletes what is called coenzyme Q. So America eats like this now, and well, Indians also do the same business now. They think it's high social status if they go up and eating a burger rather than your home-cooked thali. It's sad, but that's become the reality. It's like a social status eating noodles versus eating nice whole grain poha. We have changed and westernized our diets. It's so unfortunate. And if we can go back to our roots, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, eat a lot of lentils. Dal was just part of our diet every single day. If you eat 3 cups of dal, each cup of dal has 15 grams. A woman needs 46 grams. 3 cups of dal for the day, you got your protein. But what people say, oh, you got to eat meat to get your protein. That's absolutely false. A man needs 56 grams. So let the man eat 4 cups of dal every day, and he got his protein. And lentils, brown rice. We have so much of millets, and I'm so happy that the current Indian government, under the leadership of Mr. Modi, is really pushing the millets and the yoga, and he's basically trying to bring back the lifestyle. I've got nothing to do with politics, but what I'm seeing happening, and hope Indians take up on this and then really change. So the only thing when you get into a plant-based diet that you got to supplement is B12. And my meat-eating friends, which I used to eat meat, and my B12 was low too. So I'm glad Nano Health is actually doing a package, the gift of good health, which has B12 and vitamin D and thyroid, TSH, because you got to check all these things. So if you can make your plate look like this, and then you take B12 1,000 micrograms or 100 micrograms daily, you're good to go. So how do I implement lifestyle issues? So in my patient who had high blood pressure, I'll take a life history form, all the 6 pillars. So if he's getting up in the morning and eating dosa every day, or idli, or he's eating vada, so I'll tell him, idli has rice, which is white rice, plus it has got urad dal. So I tell him, instead of white rice, put some millets in there. And eating idli is not a problem. Idli is not the problem. How it is made is the problem. Dosa is not the problem. But then with dosa, they add oil, they add a lot of salt. So I tell him, add more vegetables to the dosa. Don't use a non-stick pan, and don't put oil. It works. Use masala and make up your curries and put masala there with less oil and less salt. And I give those specific directions, and I'll tell them, you're going to do this in the next 1 week. Action-oriented, realistic. Because I won't tell somebody who has been eating this kind of diet that to change everything tomorrow. No, you got to be realistic. Take time. And then in 3 months. But you ask the patient, what is that they can do and what is it that they can do? I mean, I've changed so much, but once I see namkeen, my eyes start kind of changing the direction towards namkeen, and I love it. But I know that it's bad. You eat 1 or 2 spoons and stop there. And now you have air fryers that you can kind of make crunchy stuff. And we call that fit criteria, frequency and intensity, time type. So we say, if you got to say, instead of eating sugar-laden desserts, we say eat fruit 5 days a week, 1 serving a day, like a dessert, and maybe dessert once a week. And we kind of try to eat more fruit. They did a study in Indians, 85% or more Indians don't eat fruits. They're supposed to, like 4 to 5 servings. Like 4 to 5 servings is approximately cups. And when you eat fruits, you should eat colorful ones, not banana every day. You have to eat banana, you have to eat papaya, you have to eat sitafal, chiku. They're all different colors. So you got to put colors into there because colors have antioxidants and antioxidants prevent cancer. Food is medicine and veggies also. We say every day, 2 servings during meals. When do you put it? And then what type is vegetables? So for exercise, we give a prescription like this. What's the frequency? 5 days a week. What's the intensity? Moderate target so your heart rate goes up. Everybody has an iPhone. Everybody has a Apple Watch now, and you can check your heart rate where it goes. And the simplest way is when you're running, you should not be able to, you can talk, but you can't sing. If you're singing and running, then you're not running. So these are simple ways we teach them. And 30 minutes each session, brisk walking. So that's a prescription. For somebody's sleep, I say once in 24-hour period, you need to get a deep restorative, 7 to 8 hours. I tell them to sleep by 10 o'clock or 11, because 10 to 2 is when your body detoxifies. And if you don't allow the body to detoxify, you get inflammation. It's something like you don't have a bowel movement for 3 days. I'm sure your belly is giving you trouble, right? So it's very important that you sleep by 10 o'clock and wake up at 4 and start working from 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. But nighttime, it's better to go to bed, early to rise, So who has Netflix, please start watching these movies, Game Changers, Forks Over Knives, gives you all the answers. And I promised you guys that I'm going to keep this simple. So 6 things that you got to avoid and start slowly getting it out from your kitchen. The processed food. So what's processed food? Any food, it doesn't matter what it is. It may write, yesterday, Dr. Rahul was saying, oh, it says natural. Yeah, that's what it's natural, but it's processed. Any food, that's the box can write anything they want because nobody cross-checks them. They just want to sell their product. So any food that's made in an industrial plant is processed because they have to increase the shelf life. They have to add chemicals. If they don't show anything on the box during their processing, they must be using some, and that causes inflammation. Sugar. Sugar is the most inflammatory thing on the earth. I actually use dextrose, which is nothing but liquid sugar, and inject into people's tone, muscle, and ligaments, and they heal because they cause inflammation. So when you eat a lot of sugar, you get a lot of inflammation. Animal products, including eggs. Eggs actually, people say, oh, I take 2 eggs every day. Eggs is phosphatidylcholine. And when it gets digested, it converts to TMAO, trimethylamine oxide. And I told you guys already that TMAO takes cholesterol and puts it in the blood vessels. And that's how you get heart attack. I'm not saying that once a week you eat 1 or 2 eggs with omelette, but how do we make omelets these days? A lot of fat in there. Then on top of it, you got to add cheese now because it's cheesy, right? So that's the problem. Animal products, if you're earlier, when I was a kid, we used to eat once a week and maybe you got 1 or 2 pieces because it was a joint family. Everybody needs to get a piece or 2. So, but now every day people can order biryani or pulao, whatever. And pulao is made of full of butter, stick, Refined flours like maida, white rice, white noodles, pizza, all these are refined flours. Then gluten. Well, the North Indian will always complain because they eat roti and I eat only 2 roti, but if it's wheat, things have changed with wheat when it was genetically modified. Even same thing with corn and soy. So it's better to stay away from that unless you're really, really get multi-grain, whole grain. You can make the chapati with millets. Change. Dairy. Again, dairy, they have genetically modified. Our rishis and munis, when they had cows or anything in there, they had what is called gir cows. Then somewhere along came this dairy science. Sometimes you wonder science is good for humanity or bad for humanity. The gir cows don't give enough milk for humanity to survive. And we are the only species on the earth who drink another animal's milk. No other animal does that. Shame on us. And what do? We want more milk. We have to make dahi vada or dahi every day. Then what do? We want more milk because the population is increasing, but gir cows are not increasing. So somebody came and genetically modified the gir cow and created, we call that A2 cow to A1 cow. And that's where explosion started. A1 cow get huge amounts of milk. And to keep the milk coming, they put hormones into the cow and they give antibiotics to prevent. Nowadays, because nobody's sitting there and taking milk with hands, it's all machines doing it. And it hurts the cows and they have injuries. Then they have bacterial infections. So they get antibiotics and you're drinking those antibiotics. And then those antibiotics change the gut health. And I'm sure everybody is like, oh, I feel a little bloated. I feel little gurgly noises. I feel little discomfort, and those are all because of the gut microbiome changes that happen. So, and lactose, we are not born there. Up to 2 years is when you digest all that. So A2 milk, at least, is more similar, the casein protein to human, but still staying away from that. So what do you do? What do you eat? Eat as much fruits and vegetables. Cook them. Eat them. Eat vegetables. Eat fruits as much as you want. There's no restriction. Plan. But then you can't say, I'm going to fry potatoes. You can fry potatoes, but then they come with calories. So it's the calorie gray. But if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and use less oil and use more herbs and spices, you're still going to eat wonderful food. And then like the rainbow colors, that's all anti-inflammatory. So then what do you do? What I did is I don't eat or drink anything until midday. At noon, I have lunch, predominantly a little bit of brown rice, millets, and then a lot of vegetable. I cook now. Since I don't have time, I just use, we call that Instapot there. It's like a pressure cooker. I add all these millets or I make a khichdi, basically. I put all vegetables in there, put all herbs and spices. It's done. Half an hour, I have good food. And I eat fruits. And so 12 o'clock I eat, 6 o'clock I eat. In between, I drink lots of green tea. And I drink about 3 liters of water every day. And then I'll give you an example. Everybody, including me, is drinking in this bottle now. This bottled water creates a lot of problems, microplastics, and this will increase your estrogen levels. And nowadays, you can see more people having lots of issues with high levels of estrogen. So to keep it simple, try this. You can take a copy of this slide. I'll share the slides. Do it as an experiment in your own life, and you'll see all the benefits that you get. If you're all techie, download this. These are all free things. It's called Daily Dozen. And it has a lot of videos by Dr. Michael Greger. Watch those. If you have diabetes, put that diabetes, how to reverse diabetes. He'll have a talk there for 5 minutes. Cholesterol, low cholesterol food, how to reverse kidney disease. He'll have a YouTube video. Watch, follow. PCRM, is a wonderful website, 21-day vegan. These are all free. You'll have so many recipes there, oil-free cooking. And then How Not to Diet and How Not to Die are good books to read by Michael Greger. They are available on Amazon. He actually came up with a new book, How Not to Age. And I'm really looking forward to reading that book and implementing in my life, since I'm now into anti-aging. So watch these game changers, Forks Over Knives. And can I implement this? Yes, 100% you can implement. Take your time and then talk to the doctor. Now I'll tell you how to actually stop your pills. And there is a process for that. We keep the patient engaged. We put realistic goals and we work with the patient. So basically, I'll ask the patient, what are all your medical problems? I put it on one side. What are all the medications? I then match them. A lot of times in the old people, there are tons of pills and they don't know what they're taking for. And if their medical problem and medications don't match, I stop them. And once they're matched, then I'll see if they're appropriate. Are they doing any harm? Are there unnecessary medications? So, for example, people take famotidine and omeprazole. They do the same job. You don't have to take two pills for the same problem. So we kind of assess. And if, let's say, somebody has weak bones, then I'll say your omeprazole is causing the weak bones. And that's how we start engaging the patient. And we create a plan and we regularly review the medications and stop. So for me, it's like somebody taking blood pressure, height, weight. They are called vitals. For me, medications, I call them the fifth vital sign. After you check your BP, your pulse, your weight, your respiratory rate, fifth is your medications. And I ask them, why are they taking? What are the motivating factors? And then slowly start implementing lifestyle. And then we kind of start reducing the pills. I schedule them every week when I see them. And then once after that, I ask to see them every month for 3 months. And then after that, once in 3 months, I check and we develop goals. I proactively start taking the pills off. But there are certain patient preferences. When they think, I'll ask them, has this medication helped you? And if they say no, then I kind of say, since it's not really helping you, why don't we start stopping the pill? I'll ask them, what are the most expensive ones? And old people had limited income. And then I kind of say, okay, why don't we convert them into less expensive ones and then start saving the money? And sometimes people take like 3 times a day, 10, 15 pills. So we start cutting them down to once a day and reduce the pill burden. And most of the times in our patient, he has side effects of muscle aches. I tell them statin is causing, just because your father had a heart attack, you don't need to. If you change your lifestyle in 3 months, you can get rid of the statin, follow the portfolio diet. And I'll tell you, you're taking so many medications, we can cut your costs and start using the plant-based diet. And we engage the patient, we become a partner, and I'll make sure that they understand and they know what is stopped. We give them blood glucose monitors and Nano Health, I understand they have blood glucose monitors integrated, heart rate integrated, and we kind of give those devices and monitor them and slowly stop medications for patients. And we engage them. So the benefits of deprescribing is so much akin to what Nano Health believes is reducing medication costs, reducing hospitalizations. Rahul was saying that's one of their key things on the website. So this is all shown, less side effects, decrease the number of medications. When you have less medications, you have increased compliance, and then you get better outcomes, improved quality of life, and decreased healthcare burden. So the pillars are the diet changes. So eat a whole food, plant-based, whole grain diet. Exercise every day, 30 minutes daily, whether it is yoga, whether it is running, it's playing a game. Pick whatever you want that you enjoy. Movement is medicine. And there are 2 kinds, strength training. So once you hit 30, your muscles start shrinking. So I would suggest after 30, literally lift some weights. Or the best thing Indians have been given, the gift of life, I call that, is yoga. So go back to that. You don't need a gym membership. There are so many YouTube videos. You can start doing it. Even if you go to a yoga teacher, it's so inexpensive. Or you can have your own personal yoga teacher also. But yoga is great. And I'm glad we are having the International Day of Yoga. And it's amazing that in US, they change this yoga to whatever they want. And it's sad. And I'll give you another pointer. If you walk 30 minutes after each meal, it changes the whole dynamics of your health. I can go into the details, but in the interest of the time, but giving you that health tip. Sleep at 10 o'clock, wake up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and then continue. The best thing is not to see any screen. It emits blue light. Your phone, your computer, your video games, and that changes the melatonin. So don't do that. 2 hours before, stop all those, put the phone away, and then read a book, run, exercise, come back, take a shower, sleep. So stress management, mindfulness and relaxation, play a game, do a hobby, meet out your friends, and meditation, yoga, tai chi, all these things help with stress management. So we use a collaborative approach. And the way I do that is, we call that the 5 A's. I assess the current nutrition behavior, their belief systems, and their readiness to change. And ask them that simple open-ended question: what does it eating better look like to you? I advise, create a personalized thing. And I share some information about vegetable intake, what I just told you, because people say, you got to eat protein, or you got to eat paneer for protein, which is nonsense. You can eat dal 3 cups or 4 cups and gives you enough protein for the day, And we agree and we create, and we usually ask them what, I used to hate Karela as a kid, but so you make choices, you make patient preferences, and I assist them. And it's always good to talk to the wife or the person who's cooking in the kitchen and engage them and teach them. We follow up with them, regular check-ins, and some of the barriers that they're having. So I have an attorney, a lawyer there in US. He doesn't cook. He's very busy. How can he implement? He's always eating outside. So I literally had to teach him what kind of foods he can choose when he's traveling. And I had a patient who says, I can't afford a lot of vegetables and fruits. So I showed how she can get frozen foods, and still be able to do it. So there is always a way. We work with them. And there's a lot of research happening in patient education. Guidelines and resources I gave you guys already that. So in conclusion, the key points for the presentation are: avoid those 6 poisons, I call them: processed food, sugar, animal products, dairy, refined flour, and gluten. And start eating tons of fruits and vegetables, whole grains like millets or brown rice, and eat a lot of lentils. And if you have to kind of do the 6 pillars, start intermittent fasting, which is like 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whichever works for you, whenever you wake up. Eat in a 8-hour window period and fast for the next 16 hours. Eat whole food, plant-based diet. Exercise every day, 30 minutes. Sleep by 10 o'clock. Do meditation, hobby, playing games. That's your stress management. Stay away from alcohol and smoking and vaping and all those things. They only cause inflammation, Then social relationships. Go reach out to your friends. Enjoy some comedy. Improves your face value and secretes dopamine and serotonin and makes you happy. So with these 6 pillars, if you address every day, 80% of your problems can be reversed. And we have evidence-based tools. These are some of the websites, and you can actually do. I'll kind of ask and take some questions.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, whoever wants to ask a question, unmute and please ask.
Yeah, doctor, good afternoon. So firstly, I would like to say the session was amazing, like very informative. And I had 2 questions in mind,
Thank you.
actually. Yeah, so the first question was, you mentioned in one of your slides that we need to cut down on processed foods, and there came a lot of options wherein you also mentioned sugar. So now when they say there's a lot of options, alternatives to sugar, like honey, jaggery. So I just wanted to know that if we want to cut down on sugar, so are these options good enough, honey, jaggery, or there can be better options in terms of keeping health in mind?
Absolutely. So for example, you have peanut, we call that chicky, right? Peanut,
Mm-hmm.
so brittle peanut, we call that, whatever. So you got nuts. Nuts, eating a handful is great. Okay. So you have dry fruits, right? You have dates, you have anjeer. So you kind of make a paste out of those things, add these nuts, and make a cake out of that. That's your nut anjeer dry cake. So that's your dessert. So
Mm-hmm.
I love coffee and I love to keep it sweet. Then add some honey, green tea, adds a little bit of honey.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much better alternative than, but there are some purists who will say, oh, honeys are made by bees, that's animal. I don't have to worry about that. Nature has done some wonderful things. When bees collect all this, they add a lot of enzymes, there is pollen, they do a good job. But how did you get sugar? You actually got it from sugarcane, then you processed it together. So nowadays they're trying to do plant sugars, literally plant sugars, which are much superior because they're using different mechanism and processes to get granules. So to answer your question, jaggery, it's a lesser refined form. Okay. So once you're aware of that, taking the white sugar out of your kitchen in your coffee or your tea, and then instead of putting cow milk, put soy milk or almond milk. Almond milk, you don't even have to go to a store to do that. Soak your almonds, next day put it in a blender and filter it. You got your almond milk.
Mm.
So this is how I teach patients. I think I answered your question, right?
Yes, doc. Yes, yes, got it. So just wanted to know, confirm that honey and jaggery and all these options are better if I have to replace sugar in my diet.
Yeah. But again, understanding that all sugar is carbohydrate, all sugar has
Mm.
calorie value, and how much you limit, your calories is the problem, and what kind of calories. For example, everybody says salad. Why do they do salad? Is because a pound of salad has 60 calories. One chocolate bar,
That's 500.
as close to 120, 140 calories. So how long does it take to eat half kilo of salad? A long time. You get tired. But how long does it take to eat a Cadbury bar? Very quick. So it's the calories. So when you eat whole foods, plant-based, you eat less calories and you have fiber. And processed, they don't have fiber. They'll say that this is this much fiber, that's this much, but that's all processed one. And that's why you don't get the benefit. And nature, when you eat whole foods, it's got vitamins, it's got fiber, it's got water, this minerals, vitamins, which you don't have in processed. You got it?
Yes, doctor. Got it.
Good
So
questions. Thank you.
thank you, doctors. I had another, question that was where you mentioned that, uh, like, you mentioned the fact that fruits and vegetables at times can be expensive and, it cannot be affordable by all. And you also put in a point wherein you mentioned something about a frozen option. So I was intrigued by that, what
Yeah.
you mentioned.
So I don't know
So,
how much in India you get frozen cut vegetables, cut fruits, but if you're getting them, so what happens is at the manufacturing process, they all these vegetables are cut, fruits are cut, and then they have to at a high temperature kind of put them into these bags. What happens is actually, just to give you the story of nutrition, it's so sad nowadays. Somewhere your vegetable or fruit is actually, the fruit is born there. For example, apples. South India, no apples, right? They have to come from Kashmir. Takes
mhm.
days. So by the time the apple comes, a lot of nutrition value is gone. Lot of, so in order, but why do you think food stays better in the refrigerator because of colder temperature. Same thing with frozen. They put in lower degree temperature and then put them in there. The nutrition value is actually better preserved. They have done studies like the nutrition value as in the supermarket, like let's say 5 days, 10 days, they are sitting there, and then you buy fresh ones that you actually pulled and the amount of vitamin, then they compared that with frozen foods. Frozen foods came close to, the fresh ones in most instances. So you can get frozen foods if you don't have the option of buying, and they are less expensive usually because I think it's bulk that they put those things together.
Okay.
So if you can't afford vegetables, go for the cheaper options, whichever is cheap in the market, it doesn't matter, but anything, vegetables that are, fresh will do the job. If you can't, then go for the frozen ones if they come less expensive. In US, the frozen foods are much less expensive than, because now they have organic. And, I give you a trick here. Any foods, any vegetables, you put them in baking soda for 15 minutes, all the pesticides are gone, chemicals. Or vinegar, for 15 minutes, it's gone. And then you wash them off and cook them. They're organic for you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because everybody has baking soda, right? It's cheap. So this all, as an MD, I'm able to teach. I didn't go through a nutrition course, but it's lifestyle medicine that taught me all that. Now understand how passionate I'm about this, to give simple things to change.
Yes, doctor.
Thank you for asking such great questions. Any more?
Yeah, I think being conscious of the time. Yes, being conscious of the time, Dr. Murthy, we will wrap it up here. I think what we will do is we will take any questions that come in and post it across our platforms, and we will get them, answered by you and share. But I think this has been an eye-opener in many ways, right? Some of the things that we take for granted, like the examples you shared, that I actually ordered something baked, right? Not fried, right? But still, there are certain fine prints that we need to be conscious about, right? And then they can have a profound impact.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think these are very useful, practical tips for us to live longer, not only longer, but the quality of life, right? So it is, like you said, it is it is well-being. It is not we're not taking care of the sick.
It's
right?
healthcare.
It's healthcare. It's not sick care. Yes. So I'll always have those words in my mind. I think they will continue to echo for us and for our audience as well. But thanks a lot for a very insightful session, Dr. Murthy. I could also see the passion that you have in the way that you delivered.
Sure.
Right? How you are, and of course, for the audience, we also want to lay it out here that we will be coming up with programs along with Dr. Murthy in terms of how we can help all of you to reverse your disease through lifestyle medicine and come off your medicines. So keep watching this space for more. Some very, very interesting, exciting, and impactful times ahead. So thank you, Dr. Murthy.
Thank you, Nano Health, and thank you all for attending my session. Special thanks to Manish and Rahul and Dr. Arushi, who is right across me. Surbi, Steffi, thanks for organizing this also as well. You all have a great day, and I'm hoping that you'll all do these changes in the next few weeks, and you'll see all the good things happen to your own body.
Yes, and for our patients, for our